We are late.
Sorry, we're late. I didn't realise I was late.
Was it a matter of talking to your players a long time? Is that right?
No, it wasn't. We recovered them first, and then we do have a chat, and I've chatted to them now for about 10 minutes. But I don't think it was for. It was just that we lost sight of time a bit.
Yeah, so what did you make of it? You contested footy was terrific. You won that by 15, but at the end of the day, you kicked your lowest score for the year. How did you see the overall performance?
Oh, I thought we missed opportunities. We put ourselves in positions to probably affect the scoreboard more than we did. We didn't complete the task, and that's the difference between a good, very good side and a good side, is that they were able to complete the task. I think the scoring shots, I haven't got the stats, they're about level. They kicked the last couple of goals, I think, when it was over.
It's one of us,
yeah.
So you're very happy with your competitiveness tonight and your ability to win the hard footy, which has been down a bit?
We didn't look like a side that couldn't compete with Sydney tonight, I didn't think. I thought we looked like a side that can compete with Sydney, and they're a top side. So hopefully that gives us some confidence going forward that we can, if we bring our best effort, we can compete. We fell short again tonight, though. That's disappointing. Do you
feel, obviously the loss, no one lost to lose, do you feel like you might have turned the corner a bit tonight, or do you mark it down as just another loss?
No, I mark it down as another loss and missed opportunities, and we got made to pay a price by a good side who, give them credit, they were really strong when it needed to be.
Who stepped up? Because they've all been challenged to improve their form. Who do you feel?
From our players? Oh, I thought across the board a bit tonight there was a few players that said, I mean, Robbie's had an outstanding season. Robbie Gray was, I don't know, I didn't watch the game from an impartial point. I thought Robbie must have been close to best on ground. And, you know, Travis had an amazing second half, and Polak was back in form, I thought, albeit he made some mistakes. But across the board, I thought we were okay. And, you know, there's still players. There's always going to be in every game. There's going to be some players have quiet nights, some players have pretty good nights.
You keep Ackman, Hodge on Franklin, and Carlisle on Tippett did a great job as well.
Yeah, very good job. Outstanding job. Homs's done an amazing job, bar that one where he slipped over.
That was a big call too to put him on Buddy. Obviously, you got a lot of faith in him.
Yeah, he's done a great job for us all year, Jack. He's 21. He's only played a handful of games. He's stepped up he's played every game bar one for us this year, and I've got a lot of faith in him. I think he's a really good defender.
Where has he grown most, do you think?
Jack's just continually developed his game, I think, from a young player, and he's just getting better at it. He listens really hard to his coaches, and you know, he certainly takes on board what they're giving him, and then he goes to try and put it into action, and you see his improvement all the time.
It's like you've missed opportunities, but 2 goals out of Schulz, Monfries, Westhoff and Wingard. That's not enough, is it?
No, not if you're going to win. They're our key goal kickers probably most of the time, and you know, if they're not going to be able to hit the scoreboard, give credit to their opponents. They did a really good job. They had a good player out too in Smith, so you know they were able to restrict our ball movement, which makes it harder for our forwards to hit the scoreboard like they'd like to.
How do you balance how far up the ground your forwards come, and whether you do keep someone closer to the goal front so that when you are transitioning the play from defence, there is an option? Yeah,
look, it's really hard just to be simple in that, because depends on the type of play that's going on, the style of game that's happening. Are we playing? We had 15 back half stoppages in the first half of the game. That's almost a number for a whole game. So Sydney were good at keeping it in. We just didn't exit it with good method from there, understanding that we had numbers not forward of the ball as much as we would have liked, but you've got Adam Goods running around a stoppage, you've got McLean and those sort of players who are high quality, you've got Buddy Franklin, you've got to give some support down in that area. It's a game of inches, and I thought they showed that a couple of times where they exited our forward 50 with some real composure, and we didn't do the same.
Do you reckon you guys read that well, where they have to actually call it themselves as to when they get sucked into that centre square or when they stay back inside 50?
Yeah, I'm sure John would say his players do most of that on-field stuff themselves, and we've got to guide them through the week and make sure they're prepared to do that at the right times, but that's a bit of experience too.
Were you happy with the way your guys handled the pressure tonight, handled Sydney's pressure?
No, not totally. I wasn't. No, I thought we didn't handle the in-tight stuff really well. I think that you've seen the difference, I think, at times, and you know, some of the numbers are pretty positive for us, some of them are not so, but I think if you looked at the game, you'd say there was just key moments where Sydney's, you know, I suppose their stage of where they're at and where their team's at, they were able to handle crucial moments really well. And I think that's what probably puts them equal top or wherever they are on the ladder now, second or first.
What's the mood of the group like? What's their mood like?
Our boys?
Yeah.
Look, they're disappointed. They disappointed again that they had a chance against a really good side, and they didn't make it count as much as they would, and they know that we deal with small margins. That's the trouble. This game's so tough that you deal with small margins. There's small moments in the game, and if you go through them, there's probably 8 or 10 crucial moments that I think Sydney probably won 7 out of 10. You know, so that's why the game and the scoreboard ended up where it was.
Your choice on Trengo as a forward, how did you rationalise making Trengo forward?
I thought it was okay early too. I thought it looked quite dangerous, and then obviously the conditions changed and that made it a bit more difficult. But I think a lot of sides sit back and get frightened of Sydney for their forward line. I think sometimes you've probably got to try and return serve a little bit and make them feel like that there's some more that they've got to defend at the other end, and that's crucial to the midfield battle though. You know, I'm sure Buddy and Tippett and Goods and Reid like a bit of space, but we thought that, you know, given enough supply that our height might have caused them some concern too.
There was the decision made on Westhoff, how did you decide?
We went through the right procedure all the way through Friday. We checked him out pretty close, thought he was going to be okay, and then this morning we actually checked him out in the morning at 9 o'clock and had him running around and watching him do what he could do. And to be honest, I really did leave it nearly up to Westy and totally to make the call, because that was what it was going to be. It was going to be about whether Westy could handle the situation. Did a pretty reasonable job, I think, in tough conditions, because the conditions were pretty hard for a 200-centimetre player. But, you know, it was a decision that I think we got right, albeit we didn't win the game.
Did Jay Shultz come through the game okay?
Yep. Yeah, Jay saw. He saw tonight, but he's always sore after a game of football. But, you know, there was a lot of team defence that Sydney did pretty well, I think, against our... Once the game in the second half got a bit harder to handle, they had really good team defence structure.
Even before it started drizzling, you know, a lot of your players seem to be slipping over a lot. Any particular reason?
Probably shouldn't say it about Adelaide. Adelaide has been fantastic for us, but it is a bit slippery. You know, in night games, you tend to notice that it gets a bit slippery. We've had enough experience at it now that we should be able to be better at holding our feet, but I don't think it is. When you're under enormous pressure, I think it's sometimes a bit harder to do.
To say of Labie again that he's showing that big engine, that he just wants to rack and rack for you.
Yeah, he's done another amazing job tonight. His 2 games against Sydney have been pretty impressive for us. So I think he's, you know, what are we up to, round 20? Matty Labie's done an enormous job all year on his own. You know, there's been a fair bit of risk in that for us. We've been hanging on and sitting there with our fingers crossed for Lobes, but he doesn't seem to cross his fingers. He just goes and plays.
So what's the key message you're giving them now? Key message you're giving your players?
We're not good enough to be at the best, and we've got to keep working to get better. That's what I think, and we're not a long way away, but we're not good enough to be with the best. On a night like tonight, we just didn't, as I said, those key moments in games, those 10 moments in games, we're still going 7-3 or 8-2, and until we can get that to 5-5 and then get it to 6-4 our favour, we're probably going to, you know, we're going to give good account of ourselves, but we're not going to win.
How long does that take, that process?
Not long, I hope, but I haven't got the crystal ball to say that to you. But I think you've got to experience it, and we've had some great opportunities to experience it. You know, twice this year against Sydney where we've had to experience it. You know, and we'll learn each time. And that's the key message to the boys. You've got to keep learning, and if you're not prepared to keep learning, and again, another one of the things I said to him is that part of learning is you have to listen really well. You've got to hear all the message, not just the parts that sound good.
How are they dissecting it, in the sense of when you want feedback from them, how are they dissecting what's happened in the past 6-7 weeks?
No, they're pretty good, to be honest. That's, you know, we sat in there and spoke, and it's not just me that talks, it's a player-driven part of our review of the game just now. It needs to be, because if they're not dissecting it, it's no good me telling them everything. They've got to see it themselves and dissect it, one, after the game, hopefully during the game. And then we are going okay.
Injury-wise, you come through okay?
Yeah, no problems. I think obviously Westy will be a bit sore because he went into a game with a bit of a sore ankle, but I would imagine he'll be okay. Bumps and bruises is what we expect.
Trengo got through okay, just subbed out late.
Yeah, Jacko. We just, once the weather turned, it was a pretty simple decision that we could go that way and, you know, monitor. He would have been fine to go through the full game, but it's just a matter of making a good call.
What about Matty White? Is he just dragging on?
Play next week.
Play next week?
Yeah, he'll play next week. No problems there. I think we've got 2 or 3 back. Aaron Young will be back next week. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that's out. We're starting to get them back, bar the long-termers.
No signs of the plague?
No signs. There might have been a bit out there tonight a couple of times. There were some strange things happen. Some very strange things happened tonight, didn't they?
Yeah.
When you think about some decisions that went the way they did.
Maybe the plague.
Could have been, but, you know, we all get better and we all recover from that, and that's what we're doing.
Have to clean the umpires'
Do
rooms.
you look at that premiership table with any interest now? Or?
Nah. I'm not sure what you mean.
I'm always looking to see if you're going to finish in the top 4 and believe that if you're not in the top 4, you can't really make a grand tour of the flag anyway. So.
I think right now we're the same gap away than we were before the game. So it would have been, yeah, we knew playing Sydney was going to be tough. We just got to make sure we come out next week and play really well against a young and up-and-coming Gold Coast side who at home are a much, much better side.
Is there much to read when we go looking at how you've gone in the past month compared to everyone else above you, that you've slipped behind them? Is that a reality?
Oh no, I think that's yeah. We like to deal in reality, and reality says that's fact. You know, they've got away from us, and we've slipped up. Again, we haven't slipped up by lots. I don't like talking about little bits in that mode. I don't like talking about little bits. I like to talk about the facts, and the facts are we've slipped up, and we're not happy with that, and we're going to work really hard to try and change that, and not just today, tomorrow. We're going to do it every day we possibly can. And what a great night! I mean, again, I should say for the supporters tonight to turn up again, 50+ thousand at Adelaide Oval. It's a great place. I really want to thank the supporters and our members for keeping on turning up. This group will do them proud. I'm sure they understand that.
Thanks, Kenny.